Alright, so this video is for worksheet 2-5 from the class Discovering Pre-Algebra Part 1. If you're in this class, you know the drill. Pause and grade your work, and then come back and we'll talk about it. Let me show you a couple things that tend to be problems in the reducing fractions. If you didn't reduce it enough, you look, I kind of gave you the most common thing to reduce by, and then an equal sign and that last fraction. The last fraction is the answer in question 5 and 6. But if you got the one before, that's the most common route to go and stop at. That's why I put those, okay? So don't be so hard on yourself. You've made a very common mistake that everybody makes. All right, just fix it and it will all be okay. The other thing I want to point out is in the bottom that it's mixed. There are mixed operations there. If you accidentally divided because the question before was division, but this one's actually subtraction, just pause, redo it, and then grade yourself, okay? So I'm going to assume that you have graded yourself and paused and all that good stuff, and I am going to start working on these questions. Okay. So the best way of reducing when you're doing numbers like this, like really big numbers, is to always go first for making it a mixed number, okay, so that your numbers are smaller. That only works in questions like 1 and 2 where the top is bigger than the bottom, okay. All the rest, the top is smaller than the bottom, so that doesn't work. And in 1 and 2, they ended up being whole numbers. So 9 goes into 10 one time. With 1 left over, drop down your 8. 9 can go into 18 2 times. So the answer is 2. All right. Next one. Let's say how many times 5 can go into 205. 5 can go into 24 times. All right. And that is completely what it can go into it. And go into 5 one time. So the answer is just 41. All right. The next one, I got to look at what makes up these numbers. So if I'm looking at it, I see that 35 is 5 times 7, and 45 is 5 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3, okay? All right, well, that means they both have a 5 in them, so I'm going to cross that out, and 7 is going to be my top number, and if I multiply these back together, it's 9 again, so my bottom is going to be 9. All right, in this one, 110 can break down into 10 times 11, and 10 can be broken down into 2 times 5, but I don't think I'm going to need that. Let me show you what I mean. This can be broken down into 10 times 12, and I can break down 12 some more, but let me show you something. They share 10s, so I don't need that 2 times 5. All right, I'm just going to keep my tree short and get rid of those 10s and make my new fraction 11 and 12. 36 is 6 and 6, which is 2 and 3, 2 and 3, right? And 48 is 6 times 8, which is also 2 and 3, and 8 is 2 times 2 times 2. All right, so we have lots of stuff we can cancel out. I can cancel out a 2 in both trees, another 2 in both trees, and a 3 in both trees. Right, that only leaves me with this one left in my 36, and on this one I have 2 4s left, so if I multiply them, 2 2s left, which if I multiply is a 4. So my answer is 3 over 4. All right, I definitely could take 25 into this bad boy, which is 5 times 5. Okay, so if I did that, it would go in 3 plus 4, 7 times. All right, and this I definitely can take a 10 into, right, which is 2 times 5. and that would be 21 times, and 21 breaks down to 3 times 7. So I have a 5 I can cancel, and I have a 7 I can cancel. So this top number becomes a 5. This bottom number becomes 2 times 3, which is 6. All right. All right, so that's all of the reducing. Let's go down to the mixed operations. Remember, division is keep, change to multiplication, and flip. If you do cross canceling, you would do something like that and get 3 over 2. If you don't, you would have just multiplied straight across and got 6 over 4. Any way around it, if I say, how many times can 4 go into 6? That's 1 and 2/4, which reduces down even further to 1/2. And over here, I would have went straight to 1 and 1/2. Again, we just keep, change to multiplication, flip. 5 goes into 8 one time with 3 left over. This one I just multiply straight across. So if I were to multiply these straight across, I would get, and I'm not going to do cross canceling, but if you did, awesome, I would get 9 over 30. Well, clearly 3 goes into both, so that would be 3 over 10. Okay. In this one, I'm going to just multiply, but if you cross cancel, good for you. Obviously 4 goes into both, right? So 4, let's see if that gets it down enough. Yes, 2/5. Now there are different methods of subtracting, so I'm going to save number 11 and 15 and 13 till the end because I'm just going to do both ways, okay? I'm not going to make a separate video for this one. Keep, change, flip. It's going to be 16 over 20. Divide by 4 because they both have a 4 in them. And that's going to give me 4 over 5. All right, number 14. I'm going to cancel this time because I have a 2 on the top and a 2 on the bottom. It's too perfect. And that will give me 1 and 4. Now let's do these adding and subtracting ones. So I'm going to do the vertical method first. All right, so I need a common denominator. That common denominator is going to be 10. So I have 5/10, subtract 1/10, which is 4/10. I'm going to go ahead and reduce it down to 2/5, which I didn't in my answer. Goodness me. It should be 4 2/5 is the reduced answer. 8 minus 4 is 4. So the answer is 4 2/5. Now you could do this the improper method, where you turn them into improper fractions, find a common denominator, and subtract. So this would be 16 plus 1 is 17 over 2, minus 40 plus 1 is 41 over 10. Got to change this one to 10 by multiplying top and bottom by 5. It's going to give me 10, and that's going to be 35, 585. All right, subtract 41 from 85, and we're going to get 44 over 10. 10 can go into 44 4 times. With a remainder of 4, reduce that fraction down to 2/5. All right, number 13. So first let's do the vertical method. Okay. All right, so our common denominator again is 10. All right, and we're adding. So 8 plus 5 is going to give me 13 over 10. Oh no, this is improper. So I'm going to go ahead and take the whole number of 1, okay, because this is going to be 1 3/10. I'm going to take that whole number and put it in the next column into the ones place, and I'm just going to leave my 3/10. Now add up this column, so 8, 9, and the answer is 9 and 3/10. Now I can also do the improper method, and I could do 20 plus 4 is 24 over 5 plus 8 plus 1 is 9 over 2. This needs to be multiplied by 2. This needs to be multiplied by 5. And we get 10 over, I'm going fast on the common denominators because we should have that by now. By this worksheet, we should be understanding that. All right, so when I add these, ooh, I'm 7 away from 100. So that would be 93 over 10. 10 can go into 93 9 times with 3/10 left over. All right, if I was doing this the vertical method way, I would change this to 10 over 4 over 10. Then I just need to subtract my fractions, which is 4 over 10, which reduces down to 2/5. Now I don't have to turn these improper. I can just go straight across. 8 minus 2 is 6. Oh, I got to change this first, sorry. 8 minus 4 is 4 over 10. It wasn't as hard as 11, 13. All right, keep doing this until you understand it, and I'll see you in class.